Mike Owens, Red Side Fighting, joined today by Elijah Smith, who makes his UFC debut in a couple of weeks' time, facing Vince Morales. Elijah, always a pleasure, my man. How are things with you today?
Man, everything has been going great, man. It's a pleasure having me on.
How were your emotions ahead of your UFC debut?
I kind of take it as if like it was any other fight. I don't try to make it bigger than what it is. Fight's a fight. Yeah, it's the biggest fight of my career yet. But yeah, just coming in with the same mentality of fight's a fight and not making the whole situation bigger than what it actually is.
Has this camp felt any different to any of your other fights, and have you made any changes in the lead up to this one?
Yeah, I've been having more time to really train. Now I'm a full-time fighter, so been going reaching out to different sources to getting better. Like for example, training up here in Denver at Factory X for some sparring, or going down to college down in Pueblo, Colorado, and getting some wrestling with some of the guys down there. So, yeah.
How do you feel about making UFC debut in the Apex? Because it feels like there's pay-per-views, there's fight nights with crowds, and then there's the Apex. There's three separate tiers of UFC at the moment. How do you feel about making UFC debut, a moment that I'm sure you've anticipated for such a long time without fans?
Uh, Yeah, I did want to fight in front of a crowd, but it's all good. At least it's a familiar place. So we kind of already have the vibe of the place. But I am looking forward to that moment where I get to fight in front of, in an arena, in front of a crowd, just get more of the actual feel. But for a debut, I think this is perfect. It makes the most sense, to be back in the spot that where I got my contract. So yeah.
So Vince Morales is your opponent for your UFC debut. Give me your scouting report on what you think he does well, and maybe some areas you're looking to exploit.
I think he does well with just being tough in coming forward. I think that's where he makes a living at. But where he doesn't, where I see that we find him having a lot of troubles is when he's getting pressure or when he starts getting touched. I feel like he kind of panics and likes to throw a lot of over right hands. I mean, he's a decent wrestler, but I really haven't seen anything in his wrestling repertoire in his fights that I was like, oh snap, I need to watch out for. But we know that he's a durable, tough guy, but nothing too crazy, nothing we haven't seen before.
Toughness kind of brings me on to my next point because he's been a very difficult guy, even in his losses, to be able to finish and put away. When you look at this style matchup, are you expecting a 15-minute fight, or do you think there's areas where you can exploit and potentially get the finish?
Um, I'm trying to go out there and get the finish.
Hmm.
We don't get paid by the hour, so if I can go out there and get the finish, that'd be great. But we're more than comfortable with, if we have to go all 3 rounds, we're good for it. And I think that's something that they're probably that they think that's where they're gonna win the fight. They think that they're gonna try to take me into deep waters, just because of my contender series fight, which is cool. I want them to keep thinking that way, and they'll see that that game plan it wasn't gonna be worth it.
You said you've made some changes and you've been getting some different looks in terms of sparring and moving across, moving in and out of different gyms. Who's give you the toughest sparring round so far in this camp?
Uh, Definitely, probably Chris. Yeah, Chris Gutierrez.
Hmm.
Just so tricky. Somebody who's also fought Vince, but he's been, giving me pointers here and there as he's getting me better, getting him better with my youth and with my speed. And then probably also another guy, one of my other training partners. His name is Isaiah Diggs. He definitely gives me a push. So those two guys have definitely give me my hardest sparring rounds.
I know that your dad is so central and so integral to your MMA journey. I checked the record. He made his UFC debut in 2013, 2012 if you count the Ultimate Fighter, but the 2013 officially. Has he give you any advice in terms of this moment of your career and how to handle the pressure and the change maybe of a UFC fight as opposed to other organizations?
Funny enough, I mean, yeah, he does, of course, but we don't really talk about it like that much. I feel like just like what I said earlier, we just take it as like it was any other fight, not putting too much pressure behind it. We just focus on what we have in front of us and all the extra, all the cameras, all the lights, all the people. When you close that cage door, none of that really matters. It's you and your opponent in front of you. So we tend to just block all the extra noise out, no matter what fight promotion we're in, whether if it's UFC or one of the regional promotions. A fight's a fight. So I mean, I already kind of been through it on the Contender Series, so again, I already know what it's like, and I know what to expect. And then being around a lot of the vets here at Factory X, like Chris Gutierrez and Yusuf Zalal, telling me stuff what to expect and just really preparing me for this moment, so it makes the whole thing super easy.
Are you one of those guys who's able to enjoy fight week? Are you looking forward to the media and to signing the posters and all of that, with comes with your first UFC fight? Or are you one of those guys who's like, I don't really care about that. Let's just get me to Saturday night where I can do my business in the cage.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna enjoy the process. I feel like to really get a real feel, you got to enjoy the media, you got to enjoy the interviews, just the whole process, the whole build up. I mean, this is what I signed up for. This everything that I've been looking forward to. The only thing is probably like I probably won't feel the best when I'm like cutting weight and
Mm.
having to do interviews, but it's whatever. I've done it before, and yeah, you just get through it, but enjoy the process because not a there's so many people out there that want to be in my position, and so I want to take full advantage of it and be grateful for the position that I'm in right now.
You're still very early in your career. I mean, single digit fights. Now you're in the UFC? Are you one of those guys who looks at it and says, I'm learning on the job here, and I still need to build my skills"? Or are you one of those guys who thinks, get me up to the top, to the higher end of the bantamweight division as quickly as possible?
I'm one of those guys that like, I truly believe nothing is given, everything is earned. So I
Mm.
feel like I still have things I need to work on, and I'm still building on like you said, I'm early in my career, and just step by step, not rushing the process. I know my time will come, just as if it did right now. As I got my contract. So as we start, gaining more traction, getting more wins, then we'll start cracking into the top 15, top 10, top five, and then sooner or later get that going that championship run. But you got to have humble beginnings in order to get to that spot. So I mean, there's guys that been in this game who never even touched, got even close to a champion fight. So yeah, just take it step by step and humble myself and just know that my time will come when it comes.
What I have to get your thoughts on last Saturday's co-main event at UFC 311, where the bantamweight title was on the line. What did you make of what was an excellent fight between Merab Dvalishvili and Umar Nurmagomedov?
Yeah, what I thought about that, I was like, damn, those guys are. I mean, Merab, he's a machine. And Umar, he's good in his own rights. I mean, he broke his hand and still was able to continue on for the next 4 rounds. I mean, those guys, you could tell. And I've been in the same room with Umar, and I saw how he trained with Khabib and Islam for this fight, and I'm like, damn, like that's why they're at the top of the food chain. So, I mean, man, when you think about MMA in the bantamweight division, it's definitely the toughest division in the UFC. So I'm happy to be part of that division.
You said you had some time to spend in the training room with Umar in the lead up to this fight. What makes the Dagestani style, or that fight team specifically, so successful in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, just seeing the way how they operate, how they grind, like they spar, and then right after they spar, they're going straight into wrestling. No breaks, no anything. They get right into it. It's all work there. Whatever Khabib says, they do. They listen, and they really believe in what Khabib says. And yeah, when you have somebody who believes in you like Khabib, you can go as far as you want in the game.
Hmm. Who do you give the best chance in terms of the title picture to defeat a fighter like Merab Dvalishvili?
Ooh, that is a good question. Man, as a, I want to see Umar. I think it's either between Umar again or Peter Yan.
Hmm.
I would like to see Peter Yan get back in there, probably get the rematch. And Umar, if he, I want to know how that fight plays out if he didn't break his hand in the first round, and maybe that changes some things. And to be honest, I mean, I think Merab, he's really skilled. Don't get me wrong, but I think his endurance is what gets him by. Like the
Mm.
fact that he's able to keep pushing, and having to defend takedowns constantly with a broken hand. It's not the easiest, and that's pretty tiring in its own right. So I think those two are probably be the closest as of right now.
Last question before we turn the conversation back to you. There's been a lot of debate this week about who's the greatest bantamweight of all time. Dominic Cruz, TJ Dillashaw, Merab come to mind given his resume. Who in your mind is the greatest bantamweight in history?
Ooh, uh, probably it's a toss up for me between TJ and maybe Merab. I mean, Merab, as of right now, I mean, if you look at his resume and see all the guys that he's beaten and the win streak that he's been on and the way that he's been beating guys, yeah, he doesn't have a lot of finishes, but he just like mauls everybody and just outworks everybody. So if you we're going off of resume, I would definitely probably go Merab, but TJ and Dominic, they're definitely a close one. Definitely, It's a toss up between TJ and Dominic for me.
We'll turn the conversation back to you for my final question. You can be as brief or detailed as you like, but as you envisage February 15th, walk me through what the perfect day looks like from morning to night.
The perfect day for like a fight day.
Like the entire fight day, the perfect day as you envisage it.
Yeah, perfect day would be waking up, probably around like 8:30, getting a nice good breakfast, having a good morning shakeout. Um, chilling out, just enjoying the moment. And then with fights, I mean, I think I'm probably gonna be like one of the first few fights. So getting in there, getting my hands wrapped, going through our warm ups, stretching out, getting a good burnout, and going out there and getting a finish. I mean, make it as simple and as smooth as possible. Make it swift, just like my nickname. So yeah, that's how I see it. Coming out there with no scrapes or bruises. That way I can get back in there, later on in the year.
I love it. Well, Elijah, always a pleasure catching up. Great to see you back in action. Have a great and safe rest of camp and enjoy your experience for your UFC debut because it only comes around once. And best of luck for the fight.
Sweet, I appreciate that. You have a good one.